In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a map chart in Microsoft Excel that looks similar to this, where you've got different color coding, customized by color, and also where you can have your customized values show up over these different states. In this example, I've got most expensive zip codes by state, and this is from the website realtyhop.com. So if you want to follow along with my example, you can go to this website, and at the very bottom, there's a table that I'm going to use for my data. So you just drag and copy this into Excel, and so you can follow step by step with what I'm doing. This is what my table looks like when I've downloaded the data, put it into Excel, and I convert it into a table. It's a lot easier to work with a table just because it's a lot easier than to reference the correct columns that you need. So I've got the zip code, the state, abbreviation, there's rankings here, a median list price, and the primary city. So the fields I'm going to focus on are the state, the median list price, and the zip code. Now, we can't create a map chart in Excel with a pivot table. That would be an easy way to do this, but instead I actually have to recreate a list that I'm going to use for the purpose of this chart. So to do so, over here in column H, I'm going to type in a field for state, and I'm going to use Excel's unique function to pull in a list of all the values here. Now, obviously, it's just going to be a list of all the states, but that's what I want. So my table by default is called table 1, and it's referencing the state field. So it's a lot easier to put it in the table just because I don't have to worry about which column I'm referencing, which range. It's automatically going to select that entire field. I'm going to hit enter, and it produces that list for me. So that's a good starting point. The next thing that I'm going to do is pull in that median list price. And since there's multiple values for each state, I need to pull in the largest one. I'm going to use the max ifs function, which is really simple to set up here. So the first value is going to be my max range. So I'm going to look at column E, the median list price. And then for my criteria, I'm going to look at where the state equals this value over here in column H. And that's my formula that I need to set up. And I'm going to copy this all the way down, apply some formatting. And so now I've put in those median list prices. So it's automatically going to pull in the largest value based on those formulas. So we can see Arizona 2.985, and so 2.985 for Arizona, so that is correct. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is pull in the zip code. Now this piece is going to be a little bit more complicated just because I'm not just doing a straight lookup for the state, because there's multiple entries here, so that can make it a little trickier to set up. But I'm going to use the index and match function. So I'm going to use the index function to pull in the zip code. So the index is where I want to pull from. So I'm selecting that zip code field. And then the match function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the state and the median list price. So select H2, use the ampersand, connect it to the list price. And then for my lookup array, what I'm also going to do is in the same order, I'm going to select the state and use the ampersand. And then I'm going to select the median list price. And then I'm going to look for an exact match, set it to 0, and return the first column because I've only got one column selected in my index. So now if I do this, let's double check. So Alabama 35223, which is correct. So let's copy this down, make sure that it's correct. So let's do a spot check for Florida. 6.1 million was for zip code 33109. Which is correct. So the lookup is working correctly. So just like that, I've got the state, I've got the list price, and I've got the zip code. The next thing I'm going to add is set up a field for my label, because I want the label to show, just like in the chart at the beginning of this video, show values in millions had an M after it, thousands had K after it. So instead of just showing this entire value, I wanted to say round up and say 800K. This one should say 3 million, or this one should be 7.8 million. So we want to round up and also abbreviate it so it's easier to read instead of showing these large numbers, which can take up a lot of space on your screen. So first things first, how do we set that up? How do we truncate these numbers and simplify them? So I'm going to start with setting up an if function and looking at that median list price to say, okay, if it's greater than or equal to a million, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. If that's the case, then I'm going to take that value and divide it by a million. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Otherwise, I'm going to take that value in I2 and divide it by thousands because it's going to be in thousands. So that's just the starting part. I'm going to break it out into pieces just to show what it is. So we got 799.81. Let's copy this down a little bit. 2.985. So we're getting close. So I'm just doing it in pieces here so it's easier to follow. And what I'm also going to do is use the round function. So I'm going to use round. I'm going to round this all to 1 decimal point, 1 digit here for this one. So got millions, round it to 1 decimal place. For the thousands, I'm going to round it to 0 decimal places because I just want it to be around 800. Copy this down. So this is going to be round to 3. This is going to be 7.8. So you can start to see we're seeing the numbers that we want to see. We have 800,000, 600,000, 3,473,000, 7.8 million. So the thousands is going to round up to the nearest thousand. The million, though, we're going to take 1 decimal point in there. Now what I can do is add to my formula a little bit here and say, so for these values that I've rounded to the millions, I'm going to use an ampersand and add M for million. And here I'm going to add an ampersand and add K for thousands. So 800K, 600K, 3 million, right? So it's starting to look like what was in those labels that were showing on those states. And what I could also do is add a $sign before this. So in quotes, add a $sign and an ampersand. And same thing over here. Let's add a $sign and an ampersand. And so we've got 800K, 600K. So starting to look a lot cleaner, easier to read these values than these larger numbers, which take up a lot more space. Now, I'm not done yet with the labels because the other thing the label had was also the zip code. So I've got the zip code in here. So I can just use an ampersand now, again, to link this value that I've created with the if statement by joining it with the zip code. But what I'm going to do is I want that zip code to go below my median list price. And I'll show you how I can do that. So if I just did the ampersand and just added this zip code, obviously that's not going to be a very good and useful label to read. Even if I wrap text, it's not going to do anything. So in order to make this work, in order to force it to go on a separate line, I need to use character code number 10. So if I use an ampersand here and type in CHAR for character 10, character number 10, that's basically going to the character number that you need to put in to force it to another line. So it's basically as if you were to hit the enter key on your keyboard. That's basically what it's symbolizing. And when I do that, now when I wrap text, there we go. So it automatically expands that. And now let's center all these and copy this down. So you can see now it expands. We've got the label, we've got the value on top, we've got the zip code below, which is how the labels were set up in that original chart that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So that's how I want my label to look. I wanted to overlay those different states so we can see both the color shading for the chart as well as the label. So if someone wanted to, they could see the zip code, they could see the value as well. Now, one more thing I'm going to do before I actually create my map chart is I'm going to organize these columns a little bit differently. Because when setting up the map chart, it's a little bit finicky into how you set it up, and it's not always easy to manipulate the series so you've got it displaying exactly what you want in the right order. So what I'm going to do is move this label. So I'm going to cut this so it goes right next to my state because I want the state and the label joined together. This zip code can sort of be on its own, but for right now I'm just going to insert it there. So we've got the price listed at the end. These are my values. And these are basically my labels and how I want it to map it. So basically just keep in mind to put the labels at the beginning and the values for your regions at the beginning. And then the actual dollar amounts, those go towards the end. So now I'm going to go through and set this up in a map chart. So if I go to insert, if you select the option for maps, there's just one option here for a filled map chart. And so we can see that it's reading properly because we've got the values here showing in this range from highest to lowest. But the problem is it's still not plotting correctly, right? This doesn't look correct. And the reason being is because we see this purple fill, we've got the state, the label, and the zip code all grouped together, and that's causing the issue. And that's why I say with map charts, it may take a little bit of trial and error to make sure it's selecting exactly what you want. So I'm going to right click on here, select data, And here we've got my median list price, so we can check what we're selecting, right? So we've got our values in K and K, so that is correct. That's how we want that to set up. We want that series to just be the values. For the horizontal category axis, I'm going to adjust this to exclude column J. I just want H and I, and this is purposely why I put the labels right next to the state, so it's easier to exclude column J. So I'm going to change from J to I, hit OK, and now you can see now my map chart fills in properly. Now I'm starting to see what I wanted to see. I see those different color scales based on their values. So I've got an initial map chart set up here. So now let's add some data labels. So if I right click on here, there's an option to add data labels. And right now it's just adding those values that I selected from the median list price, which is not what I want. I wanted to avoid that. I'm going to right click, format data labels. And then over on the right side here, you'll see an option to select what the label contains. And I'm going to select category name. And when I do that, now you'll see my custom labels that I set up are going to be included. So I've got the values and the zip codes directly underneath. So because I've done this, what you may want to consider is getting rid of this chart here, this legend. Delete that just to free up some space and fill in a lot more of these labels. Now, the one limitation with these map charts is there's no option, at least from what I'm seeing on this version of Excel, is to add in any leader lines in here to link in. On the chart that I showed you initially, we had leader lines. It was possible to see on those specific, but it's not possible in this map chart. On other Excel charts, it is, but not on the map chart. So we are able to see most of the values for most of the states, but for these smaller ones, not able to pull in just because there's not enough space for that. You could adjust the font to try to fit more in, or you could adjust the label as well if you wanted to, but that's just something to be aware of with the map charts. That's one of the limitations in there, and that's probably why they have that scale, so you can see based on color the different values on there, as opposed to relying on labels. Now let's say we wanted to change this color, because in the initial chart the coloring was red. I've got blue on here. So again, let's format the data series again. And we go here, we've got these 3 bars here. And down here, we've got the series color. So if I open this up, this is sort of like conditional formatting rules that you might set up in Excel. So we can select 2 colors, we can select 3. So we can have low, middle, and high values. So let's say for the high values, did something like a dark red. Now, if you don't have the precise color that you want, what you could do is select the red, let's say, and then go back in there and select more colors. And here you can select maybe a deeper shade of red for the middle one, the normal red. And again, we can select the red again, and this time go back into more colors and select a lighter shade, right? So it's a lot easier now to adjust it. First, select the main color that you want, the sort of base color, and then you can adjust it so that it looks similar to what you want. It's a lot easier just the shading that way. Now you could go through and use the color option here, but it can be cumbersome to try to find exactly the color scheme that you want. You can fumble around with the themes if you don't see the exact color coding that you want, but it may be a whole lot easier just to change it right here under the series color section, where you're effectively changing this as you would with conditional formatting. And just like with conditional formatting, you can specify whether you want a number, a percentage, or just base it on the lowest or the highest values, the middle values, and so on. So there's a bit more flexibility and a lot easier to make these changes on here, as opposed to looking through these different color schemes in Excel and then fumbling around with the different themes. One thing you'll notice is Excel automatically tries to detect what color to use. I've got black font here, I've got white font here. So if you click on one of these labels, just to make sure you've got them selected, you can change this to a white font. We could bold it potentially, make it larger, make it smaller. I mean, probably make it smaller in this case just to fit more space here, fit more of these labels in here, and to adjust it that way. But this way, it's a lot easier now to fit in the data and make it look exactly what you want. And so you can adjust it accordingly. At this point, the last thing you may want to do is maybe just adjust the title and set that up. So I'm just going to move this chart over to the side here, so it's a bit easier to see this. So I'm going to remove this title that by default is added with the map chart, and instead what you could do is, let's say, insert a text box. So if I select text box here from the insert menu, I can just draw in a text box here, and the label that chart had was most expensive zip codes in each US state for 2024. So I'm going to spread this out a little bit, and that was filled in a red font. This one was a black font, and let's make sure they're also bolded. And what I'm going to do is get rid of the border here, just to make sure that there's no line, just so it blends in easily with that. And so what I could do is potentially move this over top and get rid of the fill color so that white is not taken over here. And I'm going to get rid of the grid lines on my chart just to show you how it could fit in a little bit better. So we've got that line for the chart, and again, we can remove that by getting rid of the border as well. Go to no line, and now it's a lot easier to blend in these charts. Another thing that chart had was, in its title, had that vertical line going down. So we can add that as well by adding a shape. So if I go to Insert Shapes, select this line, just drag it down. And then what I could do is change the shape outline so it's red. And so we've got a similar sort of effect to that chart in there. And so we've got it fairly similar. Obviously we can adjust this a little bit, but as you can see, we've got that header. We've got that. So now let's take a look at how I did compare to that chart. So here is a side-by-side comparison with the chart I wanted to sort of mimic here. Obviously, we could change the sizing of these labels and the title, but as you can see, a similar sort of layout. The main thing that really wasn't possible with the map chart in Excel is setting up these leader lines, and so that's the main limitation of the map chart as it exists right now in Excel. Hopefully, in the future, they'll make changes where it's easier to do that. But obviously, we got the same sort of data. We've got the values, and this font is just a little bit bigger. They might have multiple labels, one for a different label for the value, one for the zip code. But as you can see, it's definitely possible to put that all in one label on here. And, if you wanted to improve the readability of it, we can always adjust the size of these values and perhaps unbold them just to make them a bit easier to read. But as you can see, it's definitely possible to create a similar type of visual in Excel where you're conveying a whole lot of information. You're not just relying on the different colors, but you can also apply really useful labels where, we can see not only the dollar amount, but we can see in this case the zip code. So we can look at any one of these states and see, okay, that's the most expensive zip code. That's the median listing price as of 2024. So I just thought it was a really cool chart to test out and walk you through how we can set this up using real world data. So let me know what you thought in the comments. How did I do as far as creating my chart? How close do you think it was, good or bad? And if you have any suggestions for other similar types of charts to make, let me know. And as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more of these types of videos. Thanks for watching.